How did the English Civil War shape American history? Although many people only think about how the Puritans founded the Massachusetts Bay Colony, the Puritans in the English Civil War shaped America by making demographic patterns of American society. It drove the migration patterns of early settlers, it established a cultural divide between the North and South, and it led to many of the political views which promoted the Revolutionary War. King Henry VIII and Elizabeth I created a form of Protestantism. Henry became the head of the Church of England because he wanted to divorce and remarry, while Elizabeth I tried to combine Catholic and Protestants. King James I made the Bible to satisfy both because neither side liked the current Bible. The Puritans had 5 points of their beliefs. They wanted total depravity, unconditional elections, irresistible grace, limited atonement, and perseverance. Charles had 3 main beliefs. He believed in beauty, a strong monarchy, and the High Church Anglican. The Puritans fled to Massachusetts in 1630 because they could not stand the current religion in England. But soon after, the Puritans won the English Civil War in 1640, and the Cavaliers fled. In 1630, the Winthrop fleet sailed to Massachusetts. There was 11 ships in all, and with a flagship called Arabella. There were 700 passengers on their way to Massachusetts. But then Parliament reconvened and the migration stopped in 1640. This unparalleled butchery, the execution of Charles I, made the Cavaliers cast away the scabbard of their swords with both of their hands. This is what Colonel Norwood said soon after the execution of Charles I. Second point was the cultural divide. The Cavaliers' culture was a strong monarchy, a high Anglican church, and along with being plantation owners. They also started the slave trade from Barbados. Puritan culture was a middle class. They believed in republicanism and believed in no holidays or sports. They were very hard workers with small farms or businesses. Africans captured the Arabs, and then the Arabs sold the Africans as slaves to the Spanish islands off of Africa. Spanish took them to their plantations in Caribbean, but when they didn't need them, they sold them to the Cavaliers. This was one of the main cultural divides in America, started between the Cavaliers and the Puritans. 3 main cultures emerged from the English settlements: the Planter Society of the South, the egalitarian settlements of New England, and the Great Varied Middle Colonies. This is from the book Alistair Cook. The third thing that led to the American history that came from this English Civil War was the political feuds that led to the Revolutionary War. Charles II was unable to reestablish his authority in America. Without the Civil War, it'd be a very different America. Puritans would not have been the only ones that weren't happy with England. England was never able to regain total control. The Civil War gave America the greatest general and first president, George Washington. One story of a Cavalier was Lawrence Washington, who started at Oxford in 1619 and graduated in 1623 with a bachelor's in art. He was elected a fellow of the college, and in 1626 1626, he graduated with a master's degree of arts. In 1627, he was appointed the university lector. In 1632, he became the protector of Oxford by the Archbishop of Canterbury, William Laud. Laud wanted a total cavalier total cavalier rule at Oxford because he wanted to get rid of the Puritan clergy. During this time, Lawrence Washington married Phyllis Twigden. The independence of the colony had been greatly helped by the lack of a strong central government in England before and during the Civil War. This was also said by Alistair Cook. While many people only concentrate on how the Puritans settled the Massachusetts Bay Colony, they also shaped American history by making an analytical sequence of American civilization through the English Civil War. They created migration patterns of settlers, the cultural divide between the North and South, and the political views that prompted the Revolutionary War. Thank you.